How are you today? You look beautiful.
Ah, thank you. You too.
This series brings a lot of drama and, from start to finish. What drew you in the most about this script?
What did sorry, I
Oh,
didn't.
what drew you in the most with the script?
Oh, just the character of JC. She's a very powerful force and a complicated woman, obviously, with a lot of flaws, but who she is as a woman, you can't help but to respect her. And I instantly fell in love with her and really, really, really wanted that opportunity to step in her shoes.
How do you find working on figuring out the layers of her, just in general?
How do I find it?
How did you find working on, figuring out, the layers to her character, or just.
Ah, yeah, well, I mean, it was definitely challenging. Like this role required more from me as an actor than has ever been required before. And I just had to remain open, and I felt that I automatically understood her, and I just put myself in her shoes, and we became the same person. So I just wanted to stay as open and truthful as I possibly could without overthinking it. Just to, it kind of, a lot of times it was just that woman's intuition that led the way, really.
Because you come from your series, from the L Word to other projects. What sets this apart from, those type of shows?
Uh, Very different. I think there's so many layers to JC, and this was definitely the most challenging role that I've ever portrayed. But I was up for the challenge, and yeah, she there are moments of true rawness and vulnerability that pretty much took everything out of me, and I knew that there were days where I just had to show up and be honest, or else no one would believe this. And it was all or nothing, and it was some of the hardest, yes, it was the hardest thing I've probably ever done in my career, but it was worth it. It was worth the experience, worth it, yeah, for sure.
How does JC actions, or with this potential scandal, affect her relationship with her family?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. What I require from my husband at certain points throughout this, or throughout like helping me figure this out, um, JC shouldn't be asking him to go so far. And I think that he's faced in dealing with uh asking himself how far he is willing to go to for me and for our marriage, in helping me through, navigate through this. So we're definitely faced with some huge challenges that affect our marriage. But I think there's no doubt in anyone's eyes about how much we actually do genuinely love each other. So we'll try to figure it out.
Because how does it affect, with your character coaching the girls basketball team? Just how does that affect the team wise? Because I know you have to have some type of connection with the teammates.
Yeah, and I always want to be, like I'm the mother figure for them, and I want to make sure that they come to me for everything, and I want to keep our relationship very open and honest. And I feel that I at times, or JC, sorry, I always speak in terms of I because I am JC.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
JC.
so there are times where she feels like she's protecting her students by keeping them in the dark, but I think ultimately that leads to much more damage, because you know they're young women, and I shouldn't treat them like children, because I have teenage sons, and I kind of sometimes will skew the lines and think it's all the same, but they are young women, and they can decide for themselves how they feel, instead of me trying to keep them in the dark or trying to decide what's best for them. I think there's a moment where they stand up to me and say, look, I want to make my own decisions. I need this information, and how dare you keep this from me? That was your choice. and it wasn't, you know, so I think that, yeah, even our relationships are challenged with the decisions I made, thinking that it was for their best interest, but it may or may not have just been what I felt was in my best interest.
Where is the buzz?
Where is the buzz you said was mine?